It's Slay the Spire with your host, Rhapsody! Which is me. Hello. There's been some stuff recently in the patch notes. In fact, there have been 3 patches since last I saw. What have we got? It's not the Combust one, right? It's immediately after that. Okay, so the Awakened One's strength gain from powers is lowered. So he, I believe, before got 3 or 2. Well, whatever it is probably 2 or 1 now. The cleave damage has been buffed from 7 upgrades to 8. Oh, no. It was from 7 on the base level to 8 on the base level, and from 10 on the upgrade to 11 on the upgrade. So it's just slightly better, a little more viable of an AoE option, because usually cleave compared very unfavorably to Thunderclap, especially considering upgrading both of those cards, you have a Thunderclap initially is 4 damage AoE plus vulnerability on top of that, but you upgrade it and it becomes 7 damage AoE with vulnerability, right? So that versus 10 raw damage for the same energy cost and the same card cost is way more powerful, right? If it's not going to be your only attack in the deck, then it just becomes way more powerful. So I'm glad to see that little bit of a buff there. The Immolate card has been reworked. It now costs 2 and deals, I believe this has actually been updated here as well. So 18 and then upgrade is 24 damage to all enemies, and then shuffles a burn into your draw pile. So that flavors it a little bit better in terms of being something that immolates. I guess, like, previously it would exhaust a card, it would burn a card, but it didn't really have, like, the self-destructive aspect that I would assume from immolation. So this is a bit of a better flavor fit. I don't know mechanically if it's going to be that great of a fit. I imagine that in a deck where you haven't been able to pick up any AoE yet, it suddenly becomes a viable option. Because you usually couldn't draft Immolate as an AoE option unless you already had a deck that was ridiculously high on wounds generation or had a bunch of curses in it or something similar to that. The Reckless Charge card is now common and has been reworked to cost 0, deal 8, upgraded to 12 damage, and shuffles a Dazed into your draw pile. So it's kind of like the Anti-Clash, right? A 0-cost attack that one of them suffers heavily if you have statuses and the other one puts statuses into your deck. However, it's really important to note that a Dazed is a status that exhausts at the end of its own turn in your hand, so you don't have to worry about overloading on them like you might have to worry about overloading on wounds, for example, in an Evolve deck, right? Because if you've just got a bunch of wounds in your Evolve deck, suddenly you're drawing a handful of wounds. And that becomes real difficult to deal with. So the Dazed at least will burn themselves out. In an Evolve deck, I can see that Reckless Charge being kind of ridiculously powerful. The Wild Strike has now been made uncommon rather than common. I actually appreciate that change. I think it showed up a little bit too much considering the kind of niche usage for it. And the Wraith Form has finally been reworked. Hell yes, this is long overdue. I don't know whether or not I like this yet. I like the flavor fit because Demon Form is the 3-cost power for the Ironclad that increases your strength by 2, upgrade to 3, every single round. Wraith Form, I figured, and I had a conversation in the comment section at one point about this, should affect your dexterity in some way, right? To be the silence version of the Demon Form. It's not exactly the same, because obviously if you had a Wraith Form that was gain 3 dexterity every round, eventually you just become unkillable. You play 1 defend and nothing can ever hurt you again, right? So this is probably a reasonable approximation of the best they could do to include the dexterity mechanic. And that is gain 3 intangible, 4 on the upgrade. At the end of your turn, lose 1 dexterity. So you basically get 4 turns of needing very little defense, if any, depending on how much you care, to start fighting your enemy. So it could be like the only defensive card in an aggressive deck, or it could be like a stall until you get your combo. It's interesting. The thing is, at the end of your turn, lose 1 dex, while 4 intangible, 4 rounds later you have nothing. 4 rounds later you have -4 dex, -5, -6, -7, right? So this means you basically need to finish the game in the 3 or 4 rounds that you have the Wraith form active for. Otherwise, you are going to start taking a ridiculous amount of damage. And then the upgrades, nothing else mentioned. It is worth noting the UX card library now has tabs for red, green, blue, colorless, and curses. So we now have complete confirmation, at the very least in written language, rather than extracted data from files in the beta branch, that the third class is blue. And then the Immolate card was buffed. Fair enough. Alrighty then, let's go into not the daily climb, the Silent Ascension 1. Let's go. Let's see if we can make a Wraith form build. I'm not actually keen on any of those. There is an early shop, and it's an early shop like directly before an elite, and then allows me to go on like a 2 elite path. Alright, sure, we'll take the 100 gold then. So basically, this is going to give me a lot of opportunity to choose something that will then defend me in the upcoming elite fights. So those were some pretty garbage opening hands. I wasted a lot of energy on one turn because I just didn't have anything to do with it. Oh boy. One short on attacks for this turn as well. We could probably be done this fight by now, if not for pretty god-awful draws. Good lord! Getting all my attacks on the wrong turns. 3 attacks. Beautiful. We should pick up a Dagger Spray. Just really important to get that AoE where it's available. Okay. It's unfortunate to see Ice Cream and not be able to take it. Currently, I'm looking at Terra Flash of Steel, but I could also just consider card removal. But the problem is that if I do card removal as my 2 steps, right? Like, how am I going to defeat the elite? And then the problem furthermore than that is if the elite is the Sentinels, then Terra isn't even that great for me. I think it's Terra Flash of Steel. I don't like it, but I think it's Terra Flash of Steel. And then we go to another shop immediately after. Yeah, there's the Bouncing Flask, the Noxious Fumes, the Dagger Spray, the Apotheosis. See, I couldn't have guaranteed that I wouldn't come to this shop, and then this shop is garbage, and... like, Terra and Flash of Steel are quite good. They really heavily contribute towards a more aggressive Silent, having a 0 cost. It's worth noting, when I talk about something being 0 cost, I'm talking about its energy cost, right? So Anger is technically 0 cost. But like a true 0 cost is something that also doesn't cost you a card. And Flash of Steel doesn't cost you a card, right? Energy efficiency, like if it was 0 energy for deal 3 damage, it'd be garbage, but it draws you a card. So it has 0 cost at all. Same for Escape Plan, I guess. All right. I guess if it's the Sentinels, we're already kind of well off against them, considering we have a Dagger Spray in the deck. It's about as prepared as we can be at this point of the game. Oh, freak. Well, now we get offered a Terra, and I'm really sad that I haven't... Take a Piercing Wail. This deck doesn't look like it's going to become defensive, so... I'm going to burn the Piercing Wail so that I don't draw it again. Terra is pretty much essential there. What I also could have done there is use the Ancient Potion to significantly lower the amount of damage I was going to take the turn after by preventing the application of vulnerability to me. I mean, Predator currently fits into this deck. Let's have a look at the Centennial Puzzle, which is the first time you lose HP each combat, draw 3 cards. Yeah, alright. Vulnerability, attack, draw. We still haven't really got like a defining aspect of this deck at all. Here's a free 100 gold for us. That is free, F-R-E-E, not 300 gold. Gosh, I wish it were. We'll get the max HP here. Paper Crane enemies with weak deal 50% less damage rather than 25. Well, the immediate... I'm going to go to this just because it gets me an extra question mark over the other path. I guess I don't need to Piercing Wail. Okay. Drop the Explosive Potion, prevent some days from going into our deck. A huge priority for us now is getting that Paper Crane active. We wouldn't have been able to kill the frontliner there. We only had 21 damage exactly, unfortunately. So I took a fair bit of damage in this fight, but I still think we're probably overall quite well off. Bag of Preparation at the start of each combat, draw 2 additional cards. That's actually super handy. No second copy of Piercing Wail, and we don't have a deck to support the other 2. Alright, weakness. That's pretty garbage. We do have a deck with basically no upgrades so far, so we could, with clear conscience, take the Apotheosis. And then make this like a thick deck. You know what? I don't do thick decks often enough. Let's do it. Let's do it. We've also got 9 cards in our opening hand, so our opening hand is much more likely to contain Apotheosis than it otherwise might be. I said thick deck, and then I immediately, literally immediately, contradicted that by removing a card. Alright. Could have killed if I just went for the double strike there. I knew I was going to take no damage with the option I was playing, so it really doesn't matter, but still worth keeping in mind. Heal hook. Yeah, we're actually planning on having consistent weak applied, so we will take a heal hook. Oddly Smooth Stone at the start of each combat gain 1 dex. That's actually quite handy. So between the Paper Crane and the Oddly Smooth Stone, we should be going for a defensive deck. Unfortunately, we already drafted quite an aggressive deck. I'm actually going to rest here, because Apotheosis has got all of our card upgrades pretty much handled. Kind of similar to this, right? Like, it's similar to that, how it was handled. I could Piercing Wail, or I could literally just use 2 defense, or I could even just use the block potion. Actually, we'll Piercing Wail because we need to increase the consistency of drawing attacks right now. It's just super important we get those. Awesome. So you might notice I've gone back to... Actually, I'll turn them off as well. No, not save and quit. I looked at the abandoned run and I was like, I need to do the other option. So I've gone back to using the drag and drop method to cast my cards. That's because a lot of people were having difficulty following what I was doing when I was just hitting those keys on the numpad. Okay. And boom. Got him. Perfect as well. Weak Potion's actually super important for us. We'll drop a Swift Potion for it, actually. Because the Ancient Potion is actually quite important on the next floor for a deck that, like ours, In fact, like any silent deck, or most silent decks rather, that has a high density of skills, we really want to have that artifacting ready for the Chosen fight and the Snecko fight. Well, there's the Wraith form. So I guess now I just cut all of my defenses from my deck. Fuck it, let's do it. Like, as much as I want it to be a defensive deck, I really want to use the Wraith form. Like, a lot? I just want to see how... Alright, well, come on. I need the extra energy because I just picked up a Wraith form that costs 3 energy. Velvet Choker or Runic Dome. Anti-Fun also probably will actually choke me a lot of the time, courtesy of 0 cost upon upgrade from Apotheosis. Terra, 0 cost Neutralize, true 0 cost Flash of Steel, possibly true 0 cost Heel Hook. That sucks. Life's difficult. I can see a 2 elite path. See 2 elite paths, 3 elite path. All right, well, this is probably the best situation to present Wraith form. I didn't think I was gonna draw a 0 cost. That's my bad. So here I've taken 2 damage. I actually believe now I should take 0 is the way this interacts, right? No, I still take 1. Okay. So they apply in the opposite order to how I thought they did. I thought it was apply intangible, then... Oh my god, I'm actually just not going to kill them. I was probably never going to kill this looter. But it is worth noting that the backliner would have been dead much more easily, and I would have had a card draw if I'd used the heel hook correctly. We shouldn't be taking defensive cards anymore. This deck actually should just cut them all. Okay. Money, money, money. Money. Nope. That's not money at all. That isn't very cash money of you, game. We'll save that Dagger Spray for later. Dagger Spray, sorry, the Piercing Wail. The Dagger Spray will be utilized now. All right, 4 turns of freedom for us. Well, near freedom. One of the problems is I'm still going to be taking some damage. Makes it very difficult to abide. I got 1 turn of intangibility left. Ooh, Red Mask at the start of each combat, apply 1 weak to all enemies. That's actually ridiculously good for us. Especially combined with the Paper Crane and the Heel Hook that we already have in our deck. We probably want another one of those, by the way. Predator, probably not a second copy. It's a bit clunky, a bit heavy to play. Yup. And I'm also going to drink an Ancient Potion. Oh no, the Ancient Potion just prevented the loss from the Wraith form. That's super unfortunate. Now I can still be hexed. Although thankfully the enemy still hasn't hexed me for some reason. No, again. Move a card from my deck, don't mind if I do. Get one of those crummy defends out of there. Alright, well, clearly should have done that in a different order. Yeah, the order is always do your draw first. Right, so I should have played Apotheosis so that I could get the best damage from my draw. Then used Flash of Steel, then used Heal Hook, then used my Wraith Form. So basically I just sacrificed 7 damage there. Now, I'm actually going to play a defense this turn just to prevent myself from getting a bunch of wounds added to my deck, because I'm just about to draw my deck, so that would be a real unfortunate occurrence for us. Okay, it appears like my initial read on Wraith Form was correct. You need an aggressive deck for it. Darkstone Periapt, whenever you obtain a curse, increase your max HP by 6. Sure, take a escape plan. No downside to it. There would be if I had the Velvet Choker, mind, but we don't have the Velvet Choker. And then give it the extra card draw. There's my Apotheosis. So I'm pretty much just digging, looking for my big hits. Get in that mad deeps. All multi-hit attacks like the Dagger Spray should play at the very end because they will trigger excuse me, malleable multiple times. Bullet time is interesting. What would I do with a cheap hand with Wraith Form in it? Like, if I have bullet time along with anything except for Wraith Form, it's just garbage. Mostly. That said, we're probably going to start including some more draw in this deck, so don't mind if I do. Let's get all of our draw done now. We will cast the Terror first, though. Alright, we might actually perfect this fight. Despite apparently our best efforts. Beautiful. Even more so. Still intangible. Bet you didn't think so. I command you to. Ah, crumbs. If I want to get the perfect here, I'm actually going to have to drop this block potion. Otherwise, I would be taking 1 damage. Boo hiss. Lantern! Gain energy on the first turn of each combat. That's actually ridiculously powerful for us, considering we have the Bag of Preparation and the Ring of the Snake, so our opening hand is 9 cards large. I really want things like the Backstab, because we're an aggressive deck. But I guess we're an aggressive deck after we get all of our combo pieces, and I don't want an innate card taking up my opening hand, preventing me from getting quite early to my Apotheosis, my Wraith Form, my Bullet Time. Oh, never mind. Bottled Lightning. Upon pickup, choose a skill card, like Apotheosis. Put it in your opening hand. Sure. I don't mind if I do. Remember when I said this was going to be a thick deck? That was fun. Who believed me? I didn't even believe me. I am just trying to make it much more aggressive, though. I've held back on upgrades, so I actually feel good about that. For that same reason, I'm actually not even going to take the Whetstone. I mean, why would I, right? I play Apotheosis on the first turn of every single combat. Playing Apotheosis will actually lower the cost of bullet time by 1, so it doesn't matter what order I do those 2 in. And I want to Apotheosis before I play my 2 draw cards here. Alright. Now I'll bullet time. Whee! So I'm getting the impression on this floor that Wraith Form might be broken. But I wonder if that will hold. I could see my mind being changed on that one. I don't even think it's going to be difficult to do so. Performance of certain cards from floor to floor does fluctuate wildly. We should probably take an Acrobatics so that we can draw more in hands with bullet time. Speaking of. Well, Piercing Wail here, then Acrobatics. And now I can bullet time. Hell yeah. Obviously, my primary concern is with the Chosen in the backline. Unfortunately, I have now been hexed. So life's pretty much over for me now. Wait. On the ground, and then boom! For exactly one less than lethal. That's what boom means. I'm gonna be just short. Sucker Punch, right? Yeah. We need the extra weakness in the deck. It's so powerful due to the Paper Crane. That is, the weakness is so powerful, not we are so powerful. I actually kind of want to keep the Piercing Wail in the deck. But also, if the Gremlin Leader lives long enough that the Piercing Wail is active and available for me to really utilize, I already lost. Because of the Wraith Form, right? Okay. Let's go. There's the Acrobatics and the Bullet Time in the same hand, as I was pretty much looking for there. And now it is Murder Time. Hell yeah. Okay, Bullet Time was actually a much better fit. Bullet Time and literally one Acrobatics was a much better fit in this deck than I thought it was going to be. We'll drop a Dex Potion for a Strength Potion because that is how our deck functions. Although we have the Bullet Time, I don't really want Choke in this deck. Is there a good reason that I don't want Choke in this deck, or am I just objecting to Choke because I don't like Choke? No, Choke is too expensive for what it does. Like, it upgrades to do 5 HP, right? So as a standard attack outside of a turn that's a chain with Bullet Time, it just doesn't do enough. What we really want is attacks that are going to benefit from being applied on top of an enemy that has terror. So large base damage rather than large ongoing effects. We always know we have Apotheosis in our opening hand, so there's no reason to do anything except for rest there. The ordering is almost always going to be Apotheosis first there, I believe. I don't actually need to play these in this order. Should use the Strength Potion, though, at the very start. That's just a rookie mistake for me right there. It's probably a good idea for me to not play the Wraith Form yet. Because that Wraith Form's going to be a rough one. Alright, we've still taken no damage in this. Okay, now it's probably Wraith Form time, let's be honest with one another. So we've basically just given ourselves 4 turns to deal another 150 damage. So he'll be doing the purge this turn. So I don't have to defend this turn because he's not going to attack. There's the purge. Now he's no longer vulnerable. And this turn he's probably going to be doing 3 damage. Because he'll be attacking 3 times. And each will be reduced to 1. Right. After Image would actually be ridiculous in this deck. I didn't even think about it up until now, but it would be. Beautiful. Yeah, After Image would be ridiculous because then I can cut literally all of the defenses and still be defended from the small damage that comes in while I'm intangible. Bet you didn't plan, so I command you to. We actually don't want a burst in this deck. The only things we can really burst, Apotheosis does nothing. Burst Escape Plan, why, like, it's just a bad escape plan at that point that costs an extra energy for me. Burst Acrobatics, usually I play the Acrobatics when my hand is already almost full. Like, I have to run out my hand so then I can play the Acrobatics. I can't see a situation where I run out enough of my hand to burst an Acrobatics to then bullet time. Yeah, it's probably a better idea to take none of these. Yikes. Sozu. Probably Sozu. Actually, do we even need the extra energy? I don't think we do. I think this deck is running, like, perfectly fine without it. I definitely don't need the card upgrade. You know what? Let's go for the White Beast statue. It's almost always that my preference there would be insta-pick the energy. But I believe we don't actually even need the energy. Like, if there was ever a turn where I thought I was going to need the energy, it would be on the opening turn, and guess what? I already have extra energy on the opening turn. I'm actually quite proud of how this deck turned out with the Wraith form. Because combined with the Terror, which, sure, I didn't need to purchase, as it turns out, from that opening store, but I'm still glad I did, in retrospect. The Terror is making it just absolutely ridiculous for us. We are capable of dealing all the damage that I was hoping that we would be capable of dealing. See, you're going to be the easiest one to kill, so I actually want to, like, straight up target everyone else. Because I need to kill them all vaguely at the same time as one another. Like, within a round or two. Beautiful. There we go. That's kind of how I expected that one would go. And now we're fine. Backline's dead. Moided. Got him. Swift Potion. Second Dagger Spray? Donu and Deca is our final fight. I could probably go for a second Dagger Spray without being severely at deficit for doing so. It is worth noting also that there's a lot more AoE fights on this floor. So sure. I'll actually go to this shop rather than 2 question marks. Just guarantee a shop. Oh my good golly gosh. That is a bag of marbles. That means my opening turn doesn't even need to have terror. Is it actually? Is that even good? Bear with me. I have terror. Like, my opening hand being able to do a lot of damage is fine, but I don't need to do my damage in the opening turn. I get 4 more turns to do it, courtesy of the Wraith form. I think what I actually want is the Gremlin Horn. Yeah, it's the Gremlin Horn. I also desperately want the Strength Potion, so I'm gonna, like, that's actually part of why I got the White Beast statue, so that I can stack Strength Potions before the final fight. Oh look, it's another one of these AoE fights I've been hearing so much about. Eh? Oh, E-fights. That was a garbage joke. Yeah, my bad. Alright. And now we can bullet time. Beautiful. So we lost a wee bit of HP there, but ultimately everything was fine. Another strength potion. Beautiful. I'm actually just straight up going to hold those into the final fight. Should have done the apotheosis first there. I'll always be here to critique my own plays for you. Yeah, also should have killed the repulsor first. Lot of misplays going around these kinds of years. This time of year, if I wanted to say anything correctly. Beautiful. Pretty much exact on for the damage right there. And we are going to try and take out like 1 billion elites. Because I wanna, that's why. I'm trying to kill the frontliner and leave the backliner to deal with later. Is that still a good idea? No, it's a bad idea. It's a bad idea. Let's just focus on the backliner and get them out of the picture. Then take the frontliner on. Had to be the one putting the burns in my deck. Now, had I known which was... I mean, both of them possibly were trying to put burns in my deck there. Had I been able to identify that only one of them was trying to put burns in my deck, I would have then killed the one that was trying to put burns in my deck. Sadly, that was not the situation in which we found ourselves. It is worth noting that our intangibility is going to be good in this. Oh, God. Every time you play 3 attacks in a single turn, gain 1 strength. Shuriken is actually primarily the reason that I wanted Flash of Steel in the early game, if you're wondering. Now, I was about to say, this elite is not going to be that difficult for us, the one that we just faced. The elite that is going to be a problem, however, the Stone Head, because he's going to have so much HP that he's going to live for a very long period of time, and that's going to be a real issue for us. Okay, good. Just had to make sure that I got what I kind of need out of these turns. Beautiful. So the Stone Head is going to be an issue. But even more than that, I'm feeling like we're going to have a lot of trouble with the Nemesis. Because we basically get half the amount of effective turns from our Wraith form against the Nemesis, right? Because while he's intangible, we're not going to be dealing that much damage. I can't imagine. Beautiful. And a wee bit of Moida. Another strength potion, don't mind if I do. I kind of want to take another Sucker Punch. I actually got to be honest with you on this one. I think I want to take another Sucker Punch primarily for the fact that the final boss is going to have 2 charges of artifacting, which I guess, at the very least, the Red Mask will wear away 1 charge of that artifacting. I cycle through my deck actually quite quickly. I think I still keep people weak without it. It's fine. I'm not going to take the second copy of Sucker Punch. Ah, big head. Time to prove ourselves. That's not good at all. Should be defended here. Couldn't tell you for the life of me what damage it was going to do, but I figured I was probably defended. Make sure I use my big hits last and my multi-hits last as well, so they benefit from the earlier trigger of Shuriken. I still don't think I Wraith Form yet. Could have played another defense that turn. Well, this one's going to be a wee bit of an issue. Am I going to be hit? Yeah, I am. Rough. So I took exactly 1 damage, but that was enough. So I'm no longer going to be perfecting this fight. There's the bullet time that I wanted. Beautiful. Damn it! I was so close. Matroshka, the next 2 chests you open contain 2 relics. Beautiful. I think we actually have the chest immediately on the next space as well. Skewer is actually interesting. I guess it would benefit from the Shuriken, every upgrade it gets, but we don't actually have that much energy. Yeah, I think we want to play a lot of separate attacks rather than one large. Meat on the Bone. If your HP is at or below 50% at the end of combat, heal 12 HP, as well as the Juzu Bracelet. Regular enemy combats are no longer encountered in question mark rooms. This one's going to be another challenging one for us. The previous challenging one, we did take, it's worth noting, 1 damage, right? So, challenging is with respect to the other challenges we're facing. Take it in context, is what I'm saying, I guess. Sure. And I think I actually just get lethal in this turn. Yeah. Pretty difficult not to. Beautiful. Old coin. Gain 300 gold, as well as a block potion I can't really use. I could cut over to the shop, but I want to kill another elite. I just like murder. What can I say? Big murder fan over here. Beautiful. Should be able to kill their next turn. 7 cards. I knew 2 of them would be draw. Yeah, we got it. Bye forever. Nope. None of those. TYVM? Ooh, okay. I don't even know why I said, ooh, okay. This is the one that I thought was going to be easier. Although it's worth noting, when you draw none of your defensive cards, like literally they're all still in the deck on the opening turn, and have to hard cast Wraith Form, I'm not going to perfect this fight anymore. There's a burn in my deck now. And one in my discard pile, if it could even get worse. Pretty displeased about the whole thing. That's... Oh, yikes. Oh, that deck sucks. Okay. Yeah, because I knew the backline was going to die when I did that. I could just leave him to die to the AoE. Oh, beautiful. Molten Egg. Whenever you add an attack card to your deck, it is immediately upgraded. See, the prop... Like... Noxious Fumes technically is a really good pick when you're going up against Donu and Deca, but if the fight goes long enough for Noxious Fumes to be active, I think I lose. It is just 1 card in my deck to sacrifice, though. I'm gonna take it. I'm mad that I took it. I don't think I should have given in to that. So, remember when I said you need to cast your draw first? Technically, in that position, I was able to count those Dagger Sprays as draw, so that's why I cast them first regardless. This guy always summons on his first turn. He literally never attacks on his first turn. I believe he is actually incapable of doing it, so makes life a wee bit easier. Second heal hook, no problems. I think I'd take heal hooks, like, I think I would actually take every single heal hook off it. I think that might actually be my play on that one. Took 1 damage there. At least that's helped my draw this turn. Alright. I think I actually just, yeah, brutally murder. Brutally murder. And yeah, it should just be rest. The extra 6 strength in the final fight is going to be ridiculous. That's like 95% of the reason that I think I can kill here. I don't actually have a defensive card this turn, so I'm actually going to take damage in this fight. That's really rough. I'm not going to cast Terror. I'm going to leave myself Terror for later. Did that in the wrong order as well. Never mind. I just had to cast my weakness before the Terror. I forgot that they already had 1 artifacting removed. Okay. Draw. Really? Weak draw, bud. Yeah, I forgot I had an intangible there. That's okay, we'll be fine. Summit tells me we're not real gonna have a problem in this fight. Call it intuition. Beauty. And just completely embarrass them. Final charge of intangibility, by the way, used on that final turn as well. So yeah, I think that's actually quite well balanced. Or alternatively, 1111. Nice. It's the password to the blue team's base. I got 2 perfects. That final boss. That draw on the first turn screwed us. Damn. 4 champions, pretty good. Again, there were 2 draws on champions that were actually kind of screwy as well. It's worth noting, to be fair, I was cutting like all of the defense from the deck, so I can see why that happened. Mix an after image in there, and I think that actually would have been guaranteed to perfect and champion basically every fight. So I think they've kind of got the nail on the head with the balance of Wraith form. Although, maybe I'm getting a little bit of a skewed perception of it, courtesy of the fact that I had it in a deck with bullet time, so I was oftentimes casting it for 0. I happened to have it in a deck where I had Bag of Preparation and Ring of the Snake, so I was drawing it really early. I also had Apotheosis upgrading everything in my deck, so I didn't have to dedicate an upgrade to it. I didn't have to dedicate an upgrade to all of the other cards that I wanted to cast. So it is possible I have a skewed perception of it, but my initial perception of the Wraith form is good in aggressive decks. Defensive decks, no. Why would you do that to you? For the moment, my name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Slay the Spire. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you next time.